going.
L up on set. This video is a little bit different because I wanted to show you guys the basic setup that you need to do podcasts. I've been asked this question several times. First up, Snowball. Snowball is a pretty good mic for the prices. I think it runs around maybe $50 or whatever, and it has a USB connection, and it mounts right on. Well, it doesn't mount, it just sits on your desk. You know what I'm saying? You just put it on your desk, put it in USB. Sweetwater is running a special right now where you can get the Snowball and the artist version of Studio One, which is a software that I use for everything music production. $90 or a few dollars more, you can get like the whole setup. And like I say, all you need is just to plug in USB. If you're looking for the next step above that, Blue also have you covered. It's a mic called the Yeti. The price is obviously a little bit more expensive. It's probably gonna run you about $90, pretty much the same setup. Put it on your desk, it's right there in front of you. But this time you have the option to plug in XLR or USB, so you have two different options. There are also some functions that's on the mic itself. It has a mute function on there, and then there's also a volume knob. I believe there's no, it's not a volume knob on the Snowball, but there's a volume knob on the Yeti mic, so just quick access. But with this setup, you're gonna definitely need a interface. It's gonna cost you a little bit more money, but it's not that bad because Persona's got you covered on a small interface that you can grab, something real simple, very small, and the cost is absolutely great. You could take it a little bit further with these if you want to record guitar or any other instruments, or you can purchase one that has 2 inputs, you know what I'm saying? 1 input, 2 input, 4 inputs, however you want to do it. But again, we're trying to keep it basic and keep it cost effective here on this video. But in case you have the budget, you might want to go with the Rode mic or a Shure SM7B or one of the Aston mics on the Aston line. Guys, it really don't matter what mic you buy. You can have any mic. I have a Shure mic here on my head, a headset. This is the Blue Baby bottle that I use from time to time. I also will be using Aston mic. Those are pretty dope mics. I will be doing a review on those on this channel as soon as I get it in. So if you're going with the more expensive mics that has an XLR, those are condenser mics, then you want to get into different interfaces. Some of the brands that I use over the years, which are pretty good: Focusrite, Avid, Apogee, Personas, obviously. And there's a whole lot of other models that you can purchase or whatever, different price points. It just really depends on what you're looking for, but we're not trying to go there right now. Also, the thing that might be very helpful when you're doing podcasts or anything that you're recording for that matter, you definitely want to make sure that your background is secluded. You don't want to be in a real open area where the background noise enters the mic. So some of the things that may help would be to purchase a reflection filter. I have a reflection filter, and those are mainly built for people that cannot afford to spend money on a vocal booth. If your budget still doesn't allow for a reflection filter, then I would suggest purchasing some covers, or make sure your area that you're working from is well carpeted. You can buy covers or bed foaming from Walmart for a very cheap price, and just kind of like, put them up here and there. I mean, if you're doing a podcast, we're really not concerned with the way it looks, although that might be something, you may want to take pictures and show people, what you're working with, your setup or whatever. I mean, if that's the case, then definitely you can buy some covers, and, just make sure that the covers are thick enough so they can absorb the sound, so that your audio, your vocal quality can come through. And of course, if you want to learn how to use any of this equipment, Studio One, for instance, I have tons of videos on that. So, I got you covered. Then when you do your podcast, you got to wear a cool hat like mine. You just have to. Get your pair of decent headphones. There are many out here, and you should be good to go. Now, as far as where to upload your podcast to, there's a million places you can upload to. One of them I know that is pretty good. It's called Libsyn, libsyn.com. They are pretty dope. I used them before. If you want to get your podcast up on Apple Podcasts, anyone with Apple devices can hear your podcast. I've seen people do stuff on SoundCloud.com. It just really depends on where you're going with it. You have to do research there to see what works best for you. You can also do YouTube, you know what I mean, and be really creative, and as far as like getting your audio up and having graphics, or whatever the case may be. It's totally up to you. My name is Ella. Remember, music is art. You're the artist. Paint your picture.